Have you ever been gaslighted and caught off guard? By the end of this video, you'll never let yourself be caught in that ever again. In this video, we'll learn all the forms of gaslighting that there are and what can be your perfect answer in order to completely shut them down and basically come out of the situation. My name is Alex Golovko. I'm on my path to self-confidence, release of my people-pleasing, and basically be an unapologetic me. I'm also a yoga teacher, both on a movement and a philosophy side, and a lot of what I share is actually rooted deeply in those tools that really serve me on my path. And that's actually what I'm sharing on this channel. I share all these practical, super realistic and physically implementable tools that you can use in your life anytime that you face a difficult situation, that you feel low confidence, and this will just really help you in your everyday life. All right, so from here, let's dive into our subject today, gaslighting. So before we start, what is actually gaslighting? So we make sure that we don't confuse the definition. Gaslighting is a psychological method used to invalidate someone's sense of sanity or their sense of personal reasoning. So basically, trying to question their ability to reason for themselves. It's a super harmful technique for the receiver side, obviously, because it basically makes you question your own reality. It kind of slowly erodes your sense of self-confidence, and the more you receive that, the less you feel like you are worthy of understanding anything. So your own inner voice is getting shut down consistently. And yeah, basically you continue on questioning yourself more and more the more you receive that kind of behavior. In the long term, it can lead to very severe emotional distress and just really make you feel like you're unworthy. So, very important, it is super important to understand that your own inner voice is always valid. If you feel something is off, that feeling is accurate all the time. It's always accurate in everybody. The reason why we don't listen to it is another question, but the feeling inside, always accurate. And what is important to also remember, and that's very root for understanding how to invalidate gaslighting, is that your perspective is as valid, the same amount of validity as another person's perspective. That's super important to understand. We all have our own experiences. We all have our own lives. And our experience is not to be overlapped with somebody else's. But same goes in the other direction. Somebody else's experience is not to be overlapped to dismiss ours. So that's where gaslighting is actually working really well. It's basically using that to invalidate your perspective. So now we'll get quite concrete and we'll look into what are the actual sentences or techniques that are used for gaslighting and how to answer to them. The first type of sentences that you would hear is "you're too sensitive" or "you're being so dramatic." That's a classic shift of blame in order to invalidate your emotional response and shift the blame back onto you. So essentially, it's just to deflect. It's one classic way that gaslighting uses to deflect. You're being too much. That's the kind. Before answering that, you need to be very clear about what I just said before, meaning you need to be firm into your own point of view and understand that somebody else's point of view is their own, but it's not to be overlapped on yours. So in this case, basically what you could say is, I am very clear on what I have experienced and you can't convince me otherwise. Because what that conveys is you're very rooted in what you know and you won't accept any other variation of your own truth. It's very important as well, as a side note, to not overgo into excuses and explanations. The tone needs to be very firm here. You don't need to over-explain yourself. So these sentences tend to be quite short. For you, it might feel short, but actually really stay with that shortness. Feel the uncomfortable silence that comes after. It's super important to be comfortable in that silence because they will start filling it up. Another very common sentence or type of sentence or technique that is used is to say something like, that never happened. You're remembering it all wrong. You never said that. Why are you lying? Any sort of variation of these kind of sentences. So what it tries to do is to bring the doubt into your own memory, your own recollection of events, and regaining control of the whole conversation and kind of regain control over you by doing that. The one where they say about the lying part is also to, again, blame you about something you didn't do. So again, remembering what I said before, what is important is to ground it in a firm belief about your memories and your feelings. So it would sound something like, my feelings and memories are valid, even if you don't agree. It's okay if we see things differently, but I won't tolerate being manipulated. So this just brings in a firm boundary in the play because you are being quite laconic in your answer, you're firm in your beliefs, and you won't let them up for negotiation. That's as simple as that. As a side to this kind of sentence, what they could also do is to say something like, you're imagining things. Here again, it's a little bit to undermine your perception of reality and to question your ability to interpret events. Stand firmly grounded into your perception. Trust it. It is not up for negotiation. So you could say something like, I won't allow you to question my reality. Another sentence that's often heard is, you're overreacting. So this one is very important and it's slightly different than the other ones because it focuses particularly on the feelings, not the memory of what happened. So it would say that your feelings are invalid, which is very frankly impossible because no feelings are invalid. All feelings are valid. It's a question of recognizing them, understanding why they happen. A feeling is just a messenger. Imagine that it just conveys you a message from your body to your brain to let you know something's off or something's good, or, they're just messengers basically about your system. And this is how your system communicates with you. So your system is never wrong. So whatever comes up cannot be questioned. Coming from this point, what is important to answer in the situation is to say that I trust my perspective on this and I won't be second guessing myself. Period. Nothing else. No over explaining, no unnecessary talk, just period. Another one that is very frequently used is kind of this misuse of humor or jokes. So a sentence that you would hear sometimes is, I was just joking, you have no sense of humor. This is just another way to deflect responsibility and frame actually harmful behavior as a joke. A joke is always partly reality. I mean, you probably heard that expression, but yeah, jokes are never just jokes. So pay attention, something that's framed as a joke might actually be harmful behavior. So in this case, what you could say that it might be a joke and I hear what you're saying, but my experience is different. This joke was harmful to me and I won't tolerate you joking about this again. Super laconic and very firm. All right, so next one up is quite tricky. This one is usually related to usage of the feeling of love as a hostage. So let's see the example. If you really loved me, you wouldn't question me. So what are they doing here? They're manipulating emotional loyalty to avoid accountability. We all have that feeling of loyalty to people, but sometimes it doesn't mean that we can tolerate any behavior, right? So that's very important to understand that loyalty is also depending of how the other person behaves with you, and you shouldn't be tolerating unrespectful behaviors from them. So what can we answer to this? Something like, I do care about you, but that's exactly why honest, open conversations matter to me. Love doesn't mean ignoring my instincts and silencing my needs. Important to reframe what love actually is. It's not something that's allowing the other one to treat you without respect. If they would treat you with respect, there would not be such a situation. Let's go on to the last one. This one is about isolating you from the others. So it would sound like this. you're the only one who thinks that. Using the group pressure to isolate you and invalidate your feeling is just another step of creating that fear of not being part of the group. It's a human reflex to really want to be integrated and understood by the group. But it shouldn't come to the price of sacrificing your own well being. And this is why this is very important to deflect as well. Very important to know that at the end here, the group is not at all part of this conversation. They're not in your relationship, they don't have a say on what is happening. Because very probably they don't even see what is happening exactly at that point in between you and how you are actually taking the blame on a lot of things. So, what the group thinks is mostly irrelevant to this point. So, something that you could say here would be that may be true, but my perspectives and feelings are still valid. I don't need others to agree with me in order to trust what I'm experiencing. All right, so from here, there's generally also other general boundaries that you could put in place to close these conversations, because you don't want to enter into an endless ping pong with this other person, because what they're looking for is basically to make you react. The more calm and the more at ease you are to answer these techniques, to answer these psychological tools that they're using, the more they'll let you alone. Because for them, at the end, what they look for is your triggers. They're looking for your reactions, and they are looking for you to be undermined and silence yourself even more and more over time. So it's very important to remain calm and to calmly put them back into their own place. And sometimes to do that, you just need to cut off the conversation altogether. So here you can say things like, if you continue to speak to me like this, I'm not going to engage with you anymore. Or this conversation stopped being respectful, so I refuse to participate in it any longer. Or this is going in circles, so I'm not willing to continue. Or the last two, I value my peace of mind more than this conversation. Or I can't engage in a conversation that undermines my feelings. Thank you so much for watching this video until the end. I hope you got good ideas into how to answer and how to be in those conversations. More importantly than what you actually say with your words is how you actually are in those conversations. Firmly grounded, sure of your truth, and not willing to compromise it for anybody. And if you like that type of content, please consider liking it, subscribing to this channel because I'll have more for you, and also commenting and telling about your experiences. What did you experience? Did you have gaslighting in your life before? Please share in the comments. I have another video around that same topic which you can look up for in my list of videos, which is how to deal with difficult people. And there I give you a bit more background of why gaslighting could appear in other people and how to deal with it. And finally, if you want a little bit more tools to know how to set boundaries, I have a free masterclass which is called the Confidence Blueprint, which is linked right under this video. All right, that's all for now. Thank you for watching and see you in the next.